Silence between neighbors is never a good sign. And when that silence is broken by diplomatic expulsions, it sends shockwaves far beyond embassy walls. At the very beginning of 2026, a quiet but serious storm began to form between Benin and Niger, two countries tied not just by borders, but by history, culture, trade, and shared African destiny. What unfolded may look like routine diplomacy on papers, but beneath it lies a deeper warning to Africa as a whole. And that is why this story matters more than many people realize. The sequence of events is clear and important to understand. Benin took the first step by expelling two Nigerian officials from Cotonou. These officials were described as security officers linked to the Niger embassy. No matter the deeper reason behind Benin's decision, this action immediately raised eyebrows because it involved diplomats and security personnel, an area where trust between states is already delicate. In diplomacy, actions speak louder than explanations, and Niger saw this move as hostile. What followed next was not a surprise, but it was still heavy with meaning. Niger responded by declaring a senior Beninese diplomat persona non grata. The official, the first counselor at the Benin embassy in Niamey, was given just 48 hours to leave the country. The decision was communicated through a formal note from Niger's Ministry of Foreign Affairs. The language used was firm and deliberate. Niger made it clear that this was a reciprocal action based on a long-standing principle in international relations. In simple terms, Niger was saying, if you treat our diplomats this way, will we respond in kind? From Niger's point of view, this move was about sovereignty and dignity. No state, African or otherwise, wants to appear weak, especially in a region where political pressure, security threats, and foreign interests are always present. Niger felt it had to show that it would not accept actions against its representatives without a response. In that sense, many would argue that Niger acted within its rights. Reciprocity is not revenge. It is a signal meant to restore balance. At the same time, this is where the bigger African question comes in. These are two neighboring African countries at a time when the continent is facing intense external pressure, economic challenges, security threats, and political interference from outside forces. Africa's strength has always been in unity, dialogue, and solidarity, not in tit-for-tat diplomatic battles. Even when disagreements arise, and they always will, the first instinct should be conversation, not confrontation. Benin's initial action deserves serious reflection. Diplomacy is like walking on glass. Every step must be careful. By expelling Nigerian officials, Benin should have known that a response will come. Whether the decision was driven by security concerns, intelligence issues, or political calculations, the outcome was predictable. This does not mean Benin had no reason to act, but it does mean that the consequences were not fully weighed in a wider regional context. The danger of this standoff is not just about two diplomats being sent home. It is about trust being broken. When trust breaks down between neighbors, cooperation suffers. Trade can slow, border coordination becomes tense, and joint security effort weakens. For countries like Benin and Niger, which rely heavily on regional cooperation for trade routes, energy, food supply, and security, this kind of tension can quietly damage development. Investors become cautious, regional projects stall, Ordinary citizens who have nothing to do with the diplomatic decisions end up paying the price. There is also a deeper risk which many Africans worry about. When African countries fall out with each other, it creates space for external power to step in, take sides, and use one country against another. History has shown this again and again. Division makes interference easier. Unity makes sovereignty stronger. If Niger and Benin allows this issue to grow, instead of resolving it quickly, they risk weakening not just their bilateral relationship, but the broader African push for self-determination and independence in decision-making. This situation also sends a signal to the rest of Africa. If neighboring states cannot resolve sensitive issues through dialogue, what message does that send about continental unity? Africa does not need more diplomatic walls. It needs more roundtables. It needs leaders who can disagree without escalating, who can protect national interest while still protecting African solidarity. The good news is that this story is not finished. Diplomatic crises can also be diplomatic turning points. Benin and Niger still has the chance to step back, lower tensions, and talk. Quiet negotiations, mediation by regional bodies, or direct leadership dialogue can resolve this issue without further damage. Strength is not only shown by retaliation, strength is also shown by wisdom and the ability to choose long-term unity over short-term pride. As Africans, we must ask ourselves hard questions. Was Benin right to take the initial action? Did Niger have the right to respond the way it did? Should Niger have stayed quiet? Or would that have sent the wrong message about its sovereignty? These are not simple questions, and that is why your voice matters. This is Africa Unchained, where we look at African stories with honesty and deep respect for the continent's future. If you want clear and thoughtful updates from across Africa, please make sure you subscribe to this channel and turn on the notification bell so you never miss what matters. Now, we will like to hear from you. What do you think about Benin's action and Niger's response? Was reciprocity justified? Or should dialogue have come first? Please drop your thoughts in the comments below. Africa's future is shaped by conversations like this, and your voice is part of that future. Thank you so much for watching.